Hello, welcome back to my channel. And you'll see a few comments, and I've actually experienced it myself as well, that with SteamOS 3.9, it's kind of messed up a little bit with the eGPU and it getting to display on an external monitor or TV. So I do have a potential fix for this. It's worked for me and it's worked for a couple of others in the comments using the Always script, eGPU script on GitHub. So I thought I'd do a quick video just to run through the process for that and how I've managed to get it back up and running. So this is my current situation here without that script installed, and it's obviously not displaying to the external screen. It's on the internal monitor. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you'll want to do is to go into desktop mode. So to do that, you just bring up the left menu, click power, and then come down to switch to desktop. Now, once it's come up on desktop, you'll just need to unplug the cable and plug it back in. So if I just do that here, and then you'll see this little pop up in the bottom right here, if you've not already previously authorized it. So now you just click authorize permanently. Okay. So once you click authorize permanently, it might take you back into obviously game mode. Basically just go back into desktop mode, and then it'll bring you to this screen here where it's now picking up on the TV. So with it on the TV, we're just going to right click, go to display configuration, and the built-in screen, we're not going to enable it anymore, and then we'll click apply. Okay, so for me, that's now displaying on the TV only, which is exactly what we want, but obviously this is just at the moment for desktop mode. If the pop-up didn't appear in the bottom right corner for you, you can come into settings here. You can do this on the when it's on the actual internal screen, and you can see there's a tab here for Thunderbolt, and it's just the same process again. You can just either enable it, disable it, and then you can authorize it from here. So it's the same process as clicking in the bottom right corner. Just return to game mode and then come back into it. So from now, I think it's always worth doing a restart just to see if it does work. Sometimes I think just authorizing it can fix the issue. If it doesn't, then what we will do is install this Always eGPU script. And then from there we can hopefully get it to work in game mode. If you haven't already, you will need to add a sudo password to your console. So to do that, you can go to System Settings and then Users tab on the left here, and then you've got this button to change password. So then you put in the password you want. And then you click Set Password. You can leave this unchanged for now, but that's fine. All right. So I've got AllWaysEGPU GitHub on the left here from Firefox browser. I'll put a link to this in the description. So that's the one on the left. And on the right, I've just got a console window open alongside it. So it's going to copy from releases here on the left and paste it on the right into our console. And then you can see there it's now installing it all. You just put in your sudo password that you just created. And that's now done. So with that now installed, you should see in the bottom left corner, if you go to all applications, you'll see now a tab for AllWaysEGPU. I'm going to click it. I don't think it'll work, so it hasn't worked for me. I think for some people that does work. And then what you can just do is follow the steps that we're going to take over. We're going to do it manually through console. So all we need to do is go down to the setup command here. It's under usage. Click paste. And you can see now that it's going to give you some yes/no questions. So what we want to do is for the first one, we click yes. And then for the others, the next few after that, we can just click enter without doing anything until we get to one here that says right at the end, towards the right here, it says enter N to skip. And when that comes up, you can just press N and that's fine. Now, what that will do is it will give you method 2 here. So what we want to do is method 2 and 3. So if we're using method 2, which we are, we're going to press yes. And then if we're using method 3 here, which we also are, we're going to press yes. And that will now run the script and install. So what that effectively I think is doing is it's telling on system startup to effectively prioritize the eGPU and disable the internal GPU. And then magically as well, it then means it comes through the external display. So once that's all done, we can close everything. And then what we want to do is shut down. What I kind of recommend here is actually just turning kind of everything off. So turn your GPU off, unplug the cable, plug the cable back in, and then turn on the eGPU again. And let's see if it then goes through to the TV screen on game mode. Okay, so I've just clicked the power on button on the Legion Go console. It's all plugged in. So let's see if this works. And there we go. It's now coming through to the TV. What we will want to do at this point, I think you can have to do this once, but you want to go to audio and just set it as your HDMI audio and turn that all the way up. Like I said, I think you only do that on kind of like the first boot up after installing all this. And then the other thing that I quite like to do is set the resolution. I've got just straight HDMI actually plugged into this one. I usually have the DisplayPort adapter. But so you can see as I've got the 4K 60. If I had the DisplayPort it's HDMI adapter, I'll have the 4K 120. I just need to plug that in because I was gaming on Windows recently, so that's the best thing for Windows for me. But yeah, once that's all done, you can then test a game. So let's try one of them. Right, so for a quick test of a game using the eGPU, just to make sure it's all working correctly, we're going to load up Grand Theft Auto Vice City. This is the definitive edition, and we'll play around with some of the higher settings, try and see if we can get it at 4K, and see how we get on. Okay, so here is GTA Vice City. It's let's just go through some of the settings. So it's on high, and you've got some ultra things in there as well. I've set the frame rate as unlocked, and I've got it unlocked as well on the right menu. So even though I've only got my HDMI cables, I've only got 60 hertz. I just wanted to show you kind of what it's capable of with the eGPU plugged in. So we'll be getting kind of higher than the 60 that this kind of setup can handle. If I had the HDMI to DisplayPort adapter, then I could do the full 4K 120 as I mentioned earlier, but I won't be in this case. And then yeah, everything's pretty much ultra or high. And yeah, I'm not sure if you can see in the top left hand corner, you probably can't, but it's around 95 FPS, around 100 here. We go for drive. Let's just turn off radio. And then, yeah, it's still kind of early 90s. This is in the FPS. 91, 92. And what you can see is maybe on the top left as well, as you can see it says GPU 0, so that's the internal GPU, that's on 0%. It's still putting some wattage as well. I'm not sure if that affects performance or not, but I mean, this is pretty good for me, especially if you want to play playing 4K 60, especially you can really lock this down. And then yeah, GPU 1 next to that is at 100% on 225 watts for me, but obviously that'll vary based on your card and your setup. You've also got VRAM 0.1, which is the internal kind of RAM and VRAM, and then you've got 4.7 gig, 5 gig currently on the eGPU VRAM, because I've got a 7800 XT with 16 gigabytes dedicated VRAM. But yeah, all in all, it's a good setup. If I was obviously plays properly with this current setup, I would add the frame limit of 60 Hz, and you can see now it's a much smoother experience with the FPS, and yeah, it feels really good. So I won't test out any more games on this video. I just wanted to kind of show you the general kind of overall setup and how to get it back working with the TV. Hopefully this is helpful for anyone who's having issues. This should work with kind of any kind of SteamOS setup that you've got, whether you're using Cashy or Bazai and you're having issues bringing it to the external TV. I think this should work, so I would give it a go. I'm obviously using just the official SteamOS with the original Legion Go. I've done another video on my Legion Go 2 with my Bazai setup on that one. That I found is absolutely the best operating system to be using for the GPU on the Legion Go 2. I did test out SteamOS and Cashy as well, but I had a lot more trouble. I had to kind of do it this way, the AllWaysEGPU, and even then it's a bit hit or miss. Whereas Bazai was pretty much just plug and play with very little setup required. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you find this helpful. If you did find this useful, really do appreciate a like and a follow. I've hit 100 subscribers, which I'm really happy with. So yeah, thank you.